everybody, this video is going to be all about the grip, about how we hold it creates different types of backswings, matchups, and how we hold it creates different swings. What it means to have a strong and a weak grip, and how it's not just in your hands, it's also in what your elbows are doing. And also where we place our hands, low, up, forward or back, and how that influences the face and the path. So all very useful info if you're trying to sort out your ball striking, because it's not, it's ball striking is, hey, what our intentions are, how well we move, how our body is, what our grip's like, our setup position, our ball position, our swing, our movement, all that stuff. But, grip is very important, obviously. Nothing's the most important, but grip is very important. I've seen a guy play decent golf like this. Okay, he's got clubs that are long enough, and he smashes it, and he can hit drives down there like over 150 yards and probably beat half the people watching this video. No offense. But how we hold it is very important. All right, you guys should check that out. Look up the guy that I don't. Maybe I'll post a link or something, but. Look up the guy. It's like he had no arms, so we held it here, and he played golf. I think he was like between a 5 and a 10 handicap. So anyway, let's get good at this game. All right, it's not that hard. I'm gonna go over a lot of info in these videos because there is a lot to know, and a lot to know about matchups and what causes what. But this is just general info, say for a coach. Or for someone that wants to know this info, or they're really trying to solve problems in their own setup or swing or ball flight, and they're looking for stuff. So here's what I got for you: years of experience, lots of mentorships, coaches, lots of trial and error, lots of lessons, and lots of success, and then what I've learned from my failures. So here we go. First off, let's keep it really straightforward. Not anything to do with how the hands are on the club, but where the hands are at address. So you can have your club more forward, like some people, or less, or in line, or some people even have it back. You can have your hands really high, like Mo Norman, Ben Hogan, and Bryson DeChambeau, or really low, like Jim Furyk or Ryan Moore. Or you can be somewhere in the middle, like everybody else. Okay, or you could be like this guy. What I've noticed is if we just talk about how that works, relation to path. Path is so important, too steep, too under, on a reasonable plane and path is usually a good place to be. If somebody's hands are lower, not always, but most of the time, it causes like the shaft to be higher and usually cutting across the ball. So usually steep. If somebody sets up with hands higher, like I've been in lessons where everything looks reasonable with the person's swing, except for their hands are really low and their sequencing's good and everything's good, but they're a little steep and they don't like it and weird things are happening. All we do is get their hands higher, and it can help create space for a better path, a slightly more in-out path than if the hands are down. That's probably 80% of the time. It's not always the case. And if I see someone that's right here that's striping and everything's amazing, don't touch them. You know what I mean? Golf instruction and improving a golf game is all about what to say and also what not to say. So anyway, and I also see the same thing from face on. A simple relationship. If the hands are more back, it's probably going to promote slightly more over the top. If the hands are more forward, it could promote more into out. Okay? Probably 60 and 80% of the time. I teach lots of really good players and a lot of people that are trying to break 100, and I've helped people shave, whatever. I've probably screwed some people up, but I've also helped people shave 15, 20 strokes off their handicap. And I work with a lot of people that are within like the 85 to 110 range that are trying to get better. And sometimes it's as simple as that, get their hands up and a little forward, because they're chopping across it and things are bad, and that helps. So as a coach, that might help you or even yourself. So just know that hands low can usually mean steeper. Hands here usually gives more space to get the path more into out. So let's now talk about the grip. So I see the grip, I'm starting to see it as numbers. So if you have someone with a really strong hand And here's the thing is a really strong elbow, because this could be different. This could be external. See, the hand hasn't changed at all. It could be internal or external. This really influences what's happening with the path and the club face. So the face and path, how close or how into out or how out to in or whatever the swing is. Same with the right arm. The hand can be really strong or really over top, but the elbow can also be really external. Comes from the movement of your shoulder, or it can be really internal. So here's the deal. That's interesting. If somebody has strong, say 10 out of 10 strong hand, 10 out of 10 strong here, 10 out of 10 strong hand here, and 10 out of 10, they've got a strong on strong on strong grip. There are a few people in the world that can use this grip and get really good. You know, some long drivers, some guys that pound it, some guys that are really good movers, elite guys on tour. And that's the funny thing is there's people that are elite movers that play really well with a really weak grip, you know, but not really. Here's the thing is you've got Matt Wolff, John Rahm, Colin Morikawa, and quite a few other guys on tour that have weak lead arm grips. So I said arm. They have weak hand grips here, but this elbow is internal. If you can only see one knuckle here and you can't see a few, if this is like this, I don't care who you are, you're going to hit it terribly and you're usually going to push or slice the crap out of the ball, okay? If somebody has a weak lead hand and that's got to be there, they can't have a weak right arm. That doesn't match up. You've got weak on weak on weak on only one thing strong, okay? And strong is rotated to the right, weak is rotated to the left. When I'm teaching, I often turn around and show people how to grip like this. So for you coaches that teach or someone that's trying to help your friends, it's a really handy way, because if you're there and you yell, I've done this, you know, you're yelling, oh, put that over there, like a little more, just show them, you know, okay, there's one knuckle, there's two, there's three, there's four, right? You know, here you can see this knuckle, now you can't, you can see your fingers. So I often go, okay, look at my grip, this is where we want it to be. Where a grip needs to be depends on how a person stands, you know, their current swing. If they're looking to change anything, sometimes grips are fine. Good athletes could probably have slightly different grips and get away with it, but it's got to match up. If the formula doesn't match up, we're toast. I know for me, this summer, I've had a wrist injury I've learned a lot about the grip from Kelvin Meehere's articles, a lot from watching YouTube videos and reading books and trial and error. I personally can jump between a 10-finger grip, overlap, interlock. This summer I had an injury. I had to get this thumb off. My thumb was here and I had to actually have a split grip. And I shot under par like that. It was unreal. I'm blown away. Doing that though caused me to learn so much more about the golf swing, and I'm so grateful for it. So this injury's been a blessing in disguise for a lot of reasons. Don't need to get into that, but maybe I will. Last winter I tried to hit as hard as I could for 3 months. This arm for the past 10 years has gone through some trauma, some hockey injuries to my shoulder, you know, which leaks down, some dumb bench press, some dumb weighted dip exercises that compress this wrist a bit. And then I shot a lot of hockey pucks when I was younger, and this wrist has caused some problems. Anyway, long drive training this winter. Tried to be Bryson DeChambeau in a couple ways. Mainly trying to hit it 400 yards. The structure of my swing would break down, just like the connection and the support of each arm would break down, and it would get to here. When I was really trying to get long, it would get here. And then I'd try to create a ton of leg to throw the angles out and smash it, which is not a bad thing. But when this is breaking down, when my body feels better than ever, but this wrist is compromised, and I'm loading this wrist very radially, and I have a radial problem, boom, the bursa burst, cyst in the wrist, that all happened, and not fun, and pain for the last year. I've also played some of the best golf of my life because I've taken time off, thought about things, and off we go. So anyway, I know for me personally, this grip right here, just like reasonably strong right arm, left hand not super strong, and then this over here matches up really nice. And that's what you'll see on tour is you'll see people that if they have a weak hand, this is strong, and then this arm strong. Go look at. You can learn a lot by looking at Jordan Spieth's grip, Matt Wolff. You can learn a lot from looking at anyone's grip on tour because it works well enough for them to be in the plus digits for a handicap, and be one of the top few hundred golfers in the world. So look and see how the setup and the grip causes them to swing a certain way as well. Okay, you've got Jim Furyk. He's tall, lanky, similar build to me. He's got a double overlap grip, so his hands are even closer together than normal. Okay, and then he's tall, he bends over a ton. He's got a lot of knee bend, he's got a lot of bend from his hips. His hands get really close to his body. Okay, all Jim Furyk can do from that position is swing like Jim Furyk that we all know and love and make fun of sometimes. He's got the big, huge loop, right? Some people that don't understand it just see stuff going everywhere in a big flying arm. But he hits it super straight, and he's a good ball striker. Even this week, he's going to be fine at Pebble. You don't need to be super long at Pebble, which helps. Anyway, he has to take it out, because if he took it in, he would have nothing. He would have no space to swing, so he has to take it out, and it gets really high for that reason. His hands are super close. This is how to create some speed. And then his arm flies, and then his body goes, his arm gets stuck behind him, and he's just got to keep turning and get out of the way. It matches up really well. It's because of how tall he is, lanky, the way he grips, how close his hands are to his body. And then you've got like Mo Norman, his hands are out here, you know what I mean? His arms and hand path comes in, and then he comes back like on plane, we'll call it, and hits it. So Mo Norman swings the way Mo Norman swings because of his setup. Jim Furyk swings the way he swings because of his setup. So now if you go to neutral, like say like Rory or Tiger or someone, they have neutral setups. They don't have this, they don't have this. They're more here. Rory's got a little bit different of a position, and Tiger's got different setup position, but just letting you know that how we set up creates how we swing. A lot of it. Not everything. You could have a beautiful setup and you could swing terribly. So the swing is important too. I like to say PGAB, posture, grip, alignment, ball position, and then swing. Okay? But the posture, grip, alignment, and ball position can influence swing big time. So now, what else do I want to talk about? Grip pressure. I was doing a lesson a few weeks ago and did a swing analysis with a guy, and we started into the process of modifying things because he's shooting over 100, and he's a 30-year-old reasonably athletic person. There's no excuse. That person could be shooting in the 60s, after 3, 4, 5 years of hard work, insane work, because I've done that myself. I've been that, but that's also taken a lot of obsession and stuff. So anyway, but 80s, 70s, and 80s for this guy, no problem. A year or two down the road, no problem. He was hitting it all over the place, and we were working on his swing. We got the face and the path into reasonable positions, and then he's still hitting it everywhere. And I was actually a bit confused. I'm just watching these balls go 70 yards left and just moving 50 yards and then that way, and occasionally hit one decent. I'm like, wow. I looked at it and like, this actually looks decent. Look at him from face on, and he had a bit of a scoop, and and a bit of a roll. Like there's a few things going on that weren't ideal, but it's like, this is really bad. I asked him, could you please point your club to the ceiling or to the roof of the teaching center? And I see that his fingers are apart. He's got space between his fingers. And then I asked him, and I thought that's a red flag. And then the other thing I asked him was, how's your grip pressure? And he goes, oh, no pressure at all, really light. Oh, okay, here we go again. Like, this is common, I find, is that a lot of people don't grip the club hard enough. And it's all about the person. So I don't know if you've heard, but the stronger your grip is, the further your potential to hit the ball, because you're just stronger. You can hold on. One of the long drive guys, my good buddy Jesse, he goes like this with his forearm, and there's a muscle like the size of a baseball right here, and in both arms, and it blows me away. And like he's big and he's got a really good swing and he's fast, but like huge forearms. Okay, Jason Zuback saw a picture of Jesse and Jason next to each other, and Jason's forearms are twice as big. Anyway, hand strength, grip strength, really important. I'm not saying just go train that, but learn how to integrate it. And I find that, with this particular fellow that I was teaching the other day, 3 weeks ago, all I said was, let's get your hands close together, let's get your fingers close together and grip it harder. Let's go instead of 1 out of 10, 8. And his misses immediately dialed in 60% with no swing changes. Do an experiment. Go hit 10 balls, gripping it as hard as you can. Hit 10 with a medium grip, and then 10 with super loose grip, and see what works for you. Because everything's on a spectrum. There's such thing as too loose. There's such thing as too rigid. You know, we've got to find where we're at and where we need to go. And often people take things too overboard because something works and then they go overboard with it. Oh, I like this inside feel. Yeah, this is good. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're here or something, right? And you're not balancing it out with another movement. Everyone tends to go overboard with things. So anyway, grip pressure, where the hands are, the matchup of what's strong and what's weak. I look at it as kind of a formula. So this grip, this hand has a 10 out of 10 strong or a 0, you know, weak. This elbow has a 10 out of 10 and a 0. We'll just say things balance at 20. You know, this is 10 out of 10 and then 0, and this is 10 and 0 weak, right? So 10 is strong, 0 is weak. If you had everything 10 out of 10, I think I've just said this a few minutes ago in a video, the face would really close on you and you'd have to go like that. That's not bad. Some players play like that. If you had everything weak, oh, you're toast. You'd have to, you know what I mean, to square it. I've seen some things, anyway, people with weak grips I've seen someone release like that. They stood up and that was their swing. And they were decent. They were actually a 6 handicap. And they didn't have a lot of good body movement. They used more vertical force to develop speed. Anyway, he had a super weak grip, and that's what happened. So how we grip dictates how we swing, where our hands are, and the grip pressure. So I'm just thinking if there's anything else that's important. We're gonna do a bunch of these videos. So that's it for now. And let me know if you have any questions, okay? We're gonna keep this ball rolling.